internet.
Are we supposed to do it like that?
That's how we do it. That is what
But
we
that
do.
intensely?
Yeah.
We should talk about it next time because I think I'm getting too. I think I need to be like I think I'm fucking it up.
No, it's great. It's
okay.
great.
All right,
it's great. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Thursday Night at Clutter, where we hang out and talk toys, which is super exciting.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody.
With my cup of milk.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some toys that I got this week, and I also want to talk about a couple of releases that we have next week. Before we bring our guests on, who this week is Horrible Adorables, I want to talk about those things.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
No.
So should I talk about... I should talk about the releases first, right? And then talk about my exciting snags. Yes, let's do the releases first. So we have dropped a few 3-ounce new Cambots recently. The Nikki Davis exclusive. And then this weekend, right now, the Chris RWK red version is happening at my Plastic Arts booth in New York Comic Con. And then next week, we will be available to the general public, because right now it's only been available to Kickstarter backers, is the last in the 3 colors of the Mr. Coom Coom drips.
This one's called Bloody Drips,
I think. So right now this has only been available to people that back the Kickstarter. But today, I learned something new about this.
Is it this one that you learned about?
This one that I learned about. So somebody who received theirs with the rest of their Kickstarter order today posted on the internet that this one glowed in the dark. And so I was like, this one doesn't glow in the dark. This one's red. So I went and got my little pen, took it into the dark, and it absolutely does glow in the dark.
Do you have a picture for us of it glowing?
No.
The red glows.
The red glows in the dark.
But you're not even going to show it to us? You're just telling us?
I'm just telling you.
You're unprepared for this moment.
Well, how was I going to show you?
At least have a photo, like look at it glowing.
No. Because the green one absolutely glows in the dark. It was meant to. And we had no idea that this one was also going to.
I knew the whole time. I was just.
You did. You told them.
Wait, does it glow red?
No, it doesn't. It glows green.
Word.
Through like fucking magic.
Yeah.
It glows green.
So that's like a secret Easter egg for the people that have already bought this, that this one also glows in the dark. So there
you go.
Hey.
So that's super exciting and fun.
It's nice when you learn something about a toy that you've already made that's a positive thing.
It's true.
Because usually you make a toy and you put it out there and people are like, did you notice that these lines don't connect, or that when you turn it, it looks like something bad, So it's nice. Thank you for that positive news, Miranda.
You're welcome. That was quite exciting. So that will be available next week to the general market, but it was exclusively for Kickstarter backers to start with, just for supporting us, really. And also thank you to Mr. Coom Coom for the 3 designs are awesome, and they look so good together. The gold, the glow, and the red.
Do we have them all here to show?
I don't. I just bought that one because I was excited.
Unprepared again.
I know. So the other thing that's happening next week is, can we put up a promo flyer, movie poster for the 13th? So on the 13th,
that is so cool.
It's Cece's Day now. It's no longer Friday the 13th. It is Cece the 13th.
That's right. But it's not actually Friday.
It's not. It's a Thursday. So it works even better.
Even better.
Yeah.
So it's the latest in the Pumpkin series, the brand new colorway that is exclusive for this Halloween. It is the Cece the 13th.
It's dope.
Yeah.
So we made this awesome little flare, and we're going to reveal it for the first time here.
I think this one is my new favorite.
Yeah.
How many different ones are there?
So far there were 3. So when we originally released the figure, we released 3 versions. One was ours, one was like a general release, and the other one was it I Am Retro had the other one?
I am Retro had another one.
Yeah, so there were 3. And then
it was like Play to Death,
Collect and Die,
and
Trick or Treat, I think. And so this here he is in all his final glory.
Oh, sick.
Everyone loves a Jason mask, right?
Everyone.
So cool.
And so on the back it says Cece the 13th, and it's blood splattered, and it also glows in the dark. The whole pumpkin head glows in the dark.
I love how dramatic it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's got his little Jason shirt on. He's just a little Jason. He looks great.
He is. Is he trick or treating? He is, right? He's dressed up and he's going out trick or treating.
Yeah. He's
He may have already killed some people.
He might have.
And maybe real blood.
He definitely has.
Yeah. But for 2022, he is Jason. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's limited to 100 pieces. They're here and ready to ship, and they will be dropping on the 13th. So set your alarms because
it came out really well. It's great.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Little buttons on the shirt and stuff. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And so also to celebrate this release, on the 29th here at Clutter Gallery, we're having a special pumpkin custom show. And we have, 40 different artists who have taken part and customized awesome pumpkins for a special Halloween on the 29th party custom show. So we dress the gallery up. We're going to have the black lights on. You have to come in costume.
What are you going to be?
Me? I'm not telling you yet.
What about Josh?
He has like 3 masks.
Probably be dead.
Just go like really tired. Just like I'm fucking tired as fuck.
That's just.
They'd be like, good makeup.
One of my favorite things to go as is Captain Lou Albano.
Oh, dude,
I do a killer Captain Lou. I have a Hawaiian shirt. I tape rubber band to my face. I get a cigar, and I am fucking set for the evening. And like people who know, people come to me and they're like, the captain.
We've been married for 13 years and he's never dressed like this for Halloween.
That is a lie.
It's true. You did this before I moved here, but you still talk about it like that's your ultimate.
It's my ultimate costume. It's the best. Well, you know what? I upped my game when you got here. Like it was like, oh, we're actually going to dress up. We're actually going to do makeup.
Yeah, because you know what I don't understand about America and Halloween is why you dress up as random things. Like it should just be Halloween themed, right?
Yeah.
We don't have rules here. You can do whatever you want.
It has to be spooky, scary, or Halloween-y.
That's you trying to like superimpose like a fascist Halloween concept.
No, why is like dressing up as Madonna Halloween? Why is dressing up as
are you going as a sexy
Halloween?
It could be a sexy Madonna.
Why is dressing up as just a random cartoon
like
character?
Like a sexy nurse.
Halloween.
You could be like a sexy garbage woman.
I know we don't do it like right over in the UK, but it's always you got to be something. You got to be scary, right?
You got to be scary or spooky, yeah.
Halloween dude or something.
Yeah, I think that's the weirdest thing about Halloween here.
I don't disagree. No, I've been disagreeing with you this whole time, but I kind of agree with you. But at the same time, I do like a low rent costume.
What are you going to be?
Who am I going to be?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be shit, dude. I've got a glow in the dark Jason mask in the loft that I just put on. We get like 3 kids come to the door, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's lame as fuck. Like, I like carving the pumpkins. Like I like putting the pumpkins out.
Yeah.
Then, like I just hope no one comes because I hate answering the door. Like I've got one of those. I've got a Ring doorbell, and it fucking like. Anyone that comes close to the door, my phone's like ding, ding, and all that. So it does my head in. Like, I like playing. Me and Kendi, we play like fucking mad, like Halloween games. You know, we get in the VR and like get into the fucking mad zombie shooting shit and just fucking chill out. It's fun, man. Like we do Halloween. I just fucking hate little cunts coming to the door. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and in England, they might just egg you too. There's no.
Yeah, they egg you like, yeah.
People expect money. That's the other thing.
What do you mean they expect money?
They expect money.
Who's giving out money? Like when you go trick or treating, you expect that people are going to give you money.
Some people give out money, and it's weird. It's a weird thing.
Like when I was little, right? When the kids were little, they went out, and then they came back with this weird like cassette tape. I mean, like, I didn't even know what a cassette tape was, right? And it was someone, the guy that had fucking given it to him had recorded why Harry Potter was like satanic. Like it was really dark, like really weird. So when we put it on and played it, and it was like, yeah, blah blah blah, don't watch Harry Potter. And it was like weird, like proper weird, like.
That's so stupid.
Oh my god!
I
Yo,
don't
remix
we
it.
didn't egg his house. I think I like stabbed his tire or something.
You guys are way too intense in England.
Yes, we can't do it.
But I also think that English people don't like to leave the house on holidays. Like the whole staying home on a holiday and playing
That's
board
true.
games and shit
It's true.
is fucking whack.
No, it's not. It's great.
No, it's not. It's
thing
it's
ever.
awful.
No, it's not.
It's not the way you should do a holiday. You should go out and party and see people and go to parties and get drunk.
You can do that too, but you do
You
that.
can
the
just
day
do
before.
that at home. Like.
Don't do that the day
Yeah.
before.
You do.
No, you guys have it all wrong. You should socialize. You should like each other.
Yeah, everybody.
Because
comes back
you
to-
like waste the day, don't you? You just want to hibernate and just like
eat a giant tub
No.
of Quality Street.
No, I don't. I'm so sorry. That's not what it's like here.
I don't know.
Because
We go out and party.
you have Thanksgiving like 2 days before Christmas. You know what I mean?
True. And also,
Yeah.
I've been here for
Well,
13 years again, and I've never been to a party on Christmas where we go out and like rage
Oh no,
at
no, no!
someone.
Christmas is fine. I'm not talking about
So what are you
Christmas.
talking about?
Ah, right.
Halloween.
Oh,
I'm talking about New Year's. You go out and you party.
Oh yeah, for real. Yeah.
All right, all right,
different.
all right. We'll
If
see
you've
if that
got any
happens.
friends in that, yeah, that's
See if
great.
that
Yeah,
happens.
that's true.
We'll see if
You
that
have to have
happens.
friends for that. So moving on from Halloween, which we will circle back to, I'm going to show you my exciting finds this week because we went to McDonald's. We did,
Oh,
and
snap.
it was exciting. So if you don't know, this week McDonald's released an adult Happy Meal, which isn't called an adult Happy Meal, but that's what it is.
It's not called an adult Happy Meal.
No, it's just called like a mega Happy Meal or something.
Oh, because when we pulled up to the window, I was like, "Can I get 4 of those adult Happy Meals?"
It's
That's
like-
called?
what?
That's what it's called, isn't it?
No, that's just what it's like been branded as by everybody else. So it's not officially called an adult Happy Meal, but there you go.
Wow.
And it's so they partnered with Cactus Plant Flea Market, which is also a great name. And we went along and got 4 Happy Meals and demanded that they gave us all 4 toys, which they did. And apparently that didn't happen for anybody else. Nobody else were like, yes, you can have all 4.
We literally had like a powwow with them. It took like there was a massive line behind us.
That's
We were
true.
just sitting at the window negotiating with them. And then they were adamant to give us all the food. And we had to order 4 large iced teas because we had to have 4 drinks. And I tried to give them back 2 drinks. And they were like, "Are you canceling your order?"
I'm like, no,
And I'm like, "No, I just don't fucking
I
need
don't have
4
room.
giant drinks. Like, we just want the 4 toys." And it was just a kerfuffle.
Blew their minds and made the line jam up.
But what meal do you get in the adult Happy Meal? Then?
It's either a Big Mac or a 10-piece chicken nuggets.
Ah, okay, cool. All right.
And they break
So-
up the chicken nuggets into a 6-piece and a 4-piece.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Why? I don't know.
So they don't have boxes big enough for 10, obviously.
Oh my god.
But the food at McDonald's here is terrible. So, which we were just talking about briefly before we came on, but in England it's still good. So I don't know. So what is this chick called? I should have really read.
She's
the
called
name.
Fever
called-
Dream Wendy.
Fever Dream Wendy. I'll read that. Purple blobby guy.
yeah, purple.
We're not gonna tell you their real
the
names.
purple raper.
Yeah.
Just out of prison.
Yeah.
The hamburger.
Yeah.
And
Was once inside me.
didn't this guy like
This is
wasn't he on like an art show growing up?
He's like a
Morph?
he's like a
Morphus?
living chicken nugget.
More.
Morph. Yeah, he looks like Morph.
Morph. What's morph?
You smoked something. He was like a little clay guy that was in our version of your Bob Ross.
Tony Hart.
Tony R. Yeah.
Did Tony R rape little kids too?
Not that I know of.
Like
Wow.
what's that one? Ask what was it called?
Jim will fix it.
Jim will fix it.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
So dark.
Anyway,
So dark. You go back and watch those shows. So dark.
I always wanted to go on Jim will fix it. Thank God I didn't.
He would have raped you.
It's crazy.
It was
So
like Mr. Wizard.
yeah, so we got all 4 of them. So super psyched to have got all 4 of them because apparently it's difficult. So yeah, I'm gonna put them in the case.
They're cool,
Go
they're
back
cool.
and get them. They're really cool. They're ABS, which is that'd have been better if they were vinyl because that's more of our style. But I really love the sculpt on them. I just think that they're really
I
right.
like him. He's good.
He's good, right?
Yeah.
He's at least McDonald's-y, I
He
think.
looks better than most of the shit coming out right now.
The hollow ABS.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's not hollow. This one's got like solid feet.
Can I see the hamburger?
Yeah. So they're really cool. Alex really wants them now.
See how
Yeah.
You should have texted me when we were there and been like, "Yo, go back in the line." He would not have done it. He was not in the mood.
I was totally good.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't know. I started craving McDonald's. You guys sent me a photo of like holding up the Happy Meals. I was like, fuck McDonald's. And I was like, oh my God, I want McDonald's right now. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And I went in line and the guy was like, you can go fuck yourself. We don't have any more. And I'm like, am I done forever? He's like, it goes for just a few more days. Fuck out of here. So I left. And I still crave it now. I want it. I want it.
I ate half a Big Mac. And then I ate just the patties off of that Big Mac. And then I ate the patties off of the other Big Mac.
So they come in these bags.
And Miranda told me I was dirty for eating any McDonald's at all.
Because it's disgusting here. I don't know, man.
There was so much food in the car. I was like, how can we not eat this food? All this food.
So we do McDonald's like we get a mad McDonald's like it's not just like Big Mac and fries. We get like Big Mac fries, like 2 extra burgers, a little chicken mayo, 20 nuggets, like apple pie. Like we go fucking
mayo.
It's just like a little cheap chicken McSandwich.
Oh,
Nice.
how about fillet of fish?
Yeah.
Sorry, fillet of fish.
Yeah, fillet. Yeah.
Yeah, we have that. Yeah, but we not.
You know,
That's how we used to do McDonald's in England too. You just get it all, especially the apple pies. But I don't know. I've never had a good nugget here. They're all like hard little pucks.
How are they?
Yeah.
We got spicy nuggets at the moment, and they are brutal. Like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what? Yo, fucking
like habanero nuggets.
Oh, they're really hot. Yeah, they're really hot. They're like red, like nasty red looking. But anyway,
that's disgusting.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
If you got these toys, let us know
I think
in the chat.
Our guests may want to talk about McDonald's too.
That would be great. I don't know if anybody's going to be in the chat today because everybody in the world is at New York Comic Con.
Let's shit on New York Comic Con.
We could. Or we could just be like, have a good time. If you're at New York Comic Con, while we're talking about New York Comic Con, you can pick up one of these Kill Audio figures that we made with our friends.
At booth number.
I'm not sure. Check out on our Instagram. I couldn't remember everyone's booth numbers. You could pull it up and tell us.
All right.
These are limited to 100 pieces, exclusive for Comic Con, so you should go and grab one. They're having a party on Friday night, but it's too late. So
we just got a personal invitation.
Too old to go.
We just got another personal invitation.
What's the colorway on that?
It's
patina
underwater. It's really nice.
Oh, wow.
Very shiny.
I don't know if I've seen a patina toy before.
Booth 2937, everybody.
2937.
Booth 2937.
And you can get it signed by Claudio Sanchez if you look at signing schedule when he's there. 3 o'clock, I think.
And if you want to pick up one of those awesome 3-ounce Cambots, it's My Plastic Heart at booth number 1743.
There you go. We may not be there, but we're there in toys and spirit.
That's right.
So. That's
right.
There you go. Any other toy news, anybody? Before we bring on our special guests? Oh, we did just do a network where we had exclusive customs available only on network, so you can still grab them. This is Evil Dave's. And this is Dark Cloud's first custom toy on Dude Box. Do you remember Dude Box, Cece?
Yeah, you sent me one to do. It's like in the print room, buried.
He's going to do it for one of our future network shows.
We should tell the Dude Box story, but I feel like we should bring on our guests before we like.
Yeah, like customs, like ages ago. Like I did a few customs of them.
Yeah.
Back when I was like, I think it was so early. I was like putting Super Sculpey on them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's
how
you start.
That's how it starts.
That's how you start. Yeah.
And that shit falls apart, and then people are like, "Yo, dude."
Yeah, they're just like, "Fuck you." Yeah.
All right. So joining us today, we have the dream duo from the Midwest, the Felton Taxidermy
Extravaganza.
I couldn't think of the word. My brain just went like COVID.
COVID.
Like, oh, good.
What do you want to say? What do you really want to say?
That they're awesome and they're here and let's bring them on.
Woo! Let's do it.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm way too loud.
You are. Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Welcome
Adored Harib.
Adore Harib.
Oh,
Yeah. It's their French name.
Uh-huh.
I understand the brain fog, Miranda. I've had it for most of my life, but I feel like I'm grasping for words more than normal.
Oh, yeah. COVID really does a number on remembering things.
When people get COVID, and you're like, when you get COVID and you tell someone about it, and then they're like, oh yeah, I was sick in like June of 2019, and I'm sure that like I had COVID. And you're like, that wasn't COVID yet, man. But people are like, oh no, I had it early. It's like you had like pre-COVID brain fog.
Yes.
It's like, yes, I
I like
did.
your setup, man. The setup looks great. I like it.
It's one of your
Yeah,
materials.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, we
Super professional.
It's a shower curtain.
You're actually in the bathroom.
Are you in the bathroom?
We are. No, I'm just joking. We're in our basement. We have it all set up for live streaming, and we have like a rotating selection of shower curtains depending on what we're talking about.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's a really good idea. So you guys have been making felt taxidermy for a long time. Not just that, you've also been making toys. But where did you find out about designer toys? Like, what's your history? What's your toy story?
Oh, well.
Why don't you get started, Chris?
Yeah, so we've been doing this for over 10 years now, 10, 11 years, something like that. And we were doing the shows more in like indie craft at first. So we were doing things like
Renegade,
yeah,
with Crafty Bastards.
yeah, some of the big indie craft shows. And we did one in Chicago. It was the Renegade there, and there was this woman that came to our booth, and she insisted that we got into this gallery that was in Chicago.
Yes.
What was?
It was Lana's old
Well, yeah, but
gallery.
what was it called?
Oh no, dude.
Oh no, dude.
Yeah. So this lady, she kept coming back to our booth several times through the show. She's like, "Oh, I got to get you in this gallery. You got to show in this gallery." We're like, "Okay, if you want to talk to them, that's cool." And
we thought maybe there was a connection there, like she knew someone at the gallery, but no, she just made it her mission to connect. But in apparently a very pushy way.
So yeah, months later, we got invited to do like a group show there. And we did, like our normal felt taxidermy type stuff. We did a couple group shows there, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lana was taking care of your gallery for a while back then. And she was putting shows together. And so actually our first show, like in the designer toy world, was at your gallery in Clutter.
Yay! Yay! I think we have one of
we still have like that large taxidermy piece that you made.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, it was, I think someone got really sick and they had to drop out at the last second. And so Lana's like, hey guys, I'm really sorry about this, but do you happen to have any work for a show like in a couple weeks?
I don't know if I knew this. I don't remember that part of the story.
Yeah, and we're like, yeah, we have work around. And then we're like, well, we'll just drive it out there. We're going to come out and check it out.
Yeah.
And I think that we ended up having we had so much work from we had just done a show and gotten it all back, and we're like, we'll just bring it all. They can choose what they want, and then
we kind of took the show over.
We'll take all of it. So yeah, I think it's mostly Horrible Adorables group show. It's great.
So years later, we're talking to Lana about the same story, and we're kind of recounting it, and she's like, wait a second, you didn't know that lady? That lady was hounding me for months. I thought she was like your aunt or something, trying to get you into our gallery.
Do you still know that lady?
No, we never saw her again.
Wow.
Amazing.
But she went from you to hounding Lana?
Yeah, to get her into the gallery.
Wow. So she made it her personal mission.
Guardian Toy Angel.
Yeah, and I don't know who she was. Lana didn't know who she was, but she just appeared one day and she's like, you guys need to be in the designer toy scene, and she made it happen.
Wow. I think she's a ghost.
So prior to the woman who the unnamed woman, did you collect toys, or that was really your intro?
So I've always really liked the designer toy scene. I was a early subscriber to Juxtapose, High Fructose and stuff, but I never was really a collector or anything back then. But we've always just been.
But you started picking up every time we went to another city, you were picking up a little toy, a little minifigure, a little dunny here and there.
And I mean, besides that, though, I think that we've just always loved toys in general. Like I have, I went to school. I partly did like some toy design while I was there and stuff, and have been working for all of the major toy companies since I graduated too. So it's just kind of felt very natural.
Yeah.
What did you go to school for? You said you did some toy design, but
Fiber and material studies, which is like fancy textiles, artsy
But
textiles.
she also
and
did
that's what you actually use in your career. That's rare, right? Rare to find.
Yeah, and I'm still doing it today.
Yeah, that's
So you
amazing.
had some industrial design background
Mhm.
too, and that's where the toys came in and doing freelance for like Hasbro and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Awesome. So how do you find the main differences? Have we talked to Doc A and a few other people about this too? The differences between the mainstream toy world and the designer toy world. Did you find it frustrating in the mainstream toy world, or because you work for hire, it didn't really matter?
I mean, I actually really like it just as like just another creative outlet. You know, it's not as edgy or anything, but I feel like that's where I get to draw. I mostly do girls' toy design, and that's where I get to do all like throw on eyelashes, glitter, like all the things that are just like super over the top, and I get that out of my system, which is why our toys look more like this. Otherwise, it'd be a lot more, you know, more eyelashes.
Are you still doing that now? Then it sounds like are you still doing that now, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, that's interesting, man. It seems like everyone from the States that's in the toy scene so far on here has like worked with actual toys.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right?
Like over in the UK, you wouldn't really get those opportunities. You know what I mean? It's very different. You know?
Unless you're Doc A.
That's true.
Yeah. I guess it's out there, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It is. Triclops too. They all came from Hasbro.
I mean, and you kind of had some run-ins with the real toy world when I met you.
Yeah, well, through Triclops. Hasbro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never had any actual toy. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think once you kind of get your foot in the door and then you get known as being able to do something, your name gets passed around, then people will leave one company, go to another, and they kind of bring you along.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's a networking thing after you kind of get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
So do you think any of that influences your own toys, or no? You just use it?
Totally. I think just the playfulness of it, the cuteness of it. I think there were
Definitely like the illustration part of it too, you know.
So how did you make the transition between faux taxidermy felt to vinyl toys and resin toys too? I guess.
Yeah, we do it all now.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that one? I'm still going.
You guys don't have like a silent like go on. Sorry.
Well, sometime after we did your gallery show, we met Chris Reiniak and Amanda Louise Spade.
Who's that?
They do some toys.
Do they make toys?
They all live by you in the Midwest over there. You have your little toy hub.
Local toy group.
Yeah, we live maybe 20, 30 minutes apart. They're just over in the suburbs. So we got to know them, and they started talking up this show called Designer Con. And we're like, oh, what's that? So they convinced us to give it a try. We had never done a show that far away. We've always driven to our shows. And so this is the first time we had to ship product out and fly across the country and everything like that.
Yeah, and our idea at the time was like we would always do like driving to shows because our work is so big. But we had like a 11-hour radius. Like we would drive within 11 hours, but California was just a little too far away.
That radius, yeah.
So
how did you find the experience of DesignerCon then?
So we got out there. We tried making a toy specifically for the show. Jordan had made it. Had sculpted this toy, and then we figured out how to do some casting. We were doing resin casting, so we made an edition of it. And then we had all of like our regular felt flocked piece or our felt pieces as well, the taxidermy stuff. And so we got out there, we spent all this money. It was expensive to get out there and everything. And then the first day, Saturday, was terrible.
Like,
it was
what did
awful.
we do?
Like, oh man, we made a terrible mistake coming out here.
Well, that was your first day at a designer toy convention.
Yes.
And it was like crickets.
And normally, you know, for any show, the first day, the Saturday is the big day, right? Everybody's
Right.
selling out and everything like that. And we're just kind of looking around like, oh crap.
Yeah.
But then on Sunday, everything turned around. So I think it was kind of,
everybody was getting their exclusives, going to see, like, getting all the releases that were coming out for that. And like, we didn't have any name in that. No one's going for our stuff on the first day.
So I think as people were casually browsing on the second day, then they started seeing our stuff, and then we did amazing on the second day.
I think that's really good advice to give anybody that's just starting out in this world, that like if you're doing a convention like that, if it is crickets, don't worry, because you're right. Everybody runs to like, I have to go and grab these Burberrys, and I have to go over and get these Quicks, and that, like all the top names. So you're right. For a lot of people, their Saturday morning experience can be like, oh no, everyone's running past my booth. But
yeah, and like it's, you know, more than selling, it's all the connections you make. So while on Saturday or on Sunday, we had this guy come to our booth that was like, oh, your stuff's awesome. Like, I have a gallery. Would you be interested in like showing in it? And from all the other shows that we've done at that point, like the indie craft shows, it's like every time someone come up in your booth, be like, oh, hey, I have something you want to, you're always like kind of prep ourselves, like
very tentative about agreeing to anything.
I don't know anything about you. Like, and I was like, oh, you know, that sounds so cool. How about you give me your card? We'll check it out, see if it's the right move for us. And the guy gave me his card, and I was like, oh, you're Frank Gozik.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And the gallery he was talking about was Whoop Bear.
Yeah.
So we ended up staying in California for
well, so after the show, we had already planned. My brother lives in LA, so we were going to go up to San Francisco after that for a couple of days just to hang out. It was going to be us two, and then him and his girlfriend. We were going to go up there. And so, yeah, Frank is talking up the gallery and everything like that. And we're like, well, we're actually going to San Francisco after this. Is it cool if we just stop by? So, so he picked up like a few of our large pieces at the show. And then the next week we went up there and we were hanging out in his studio and at Whoop Bear and met Karina and everything like that. And then it was just a few months after, so we got the show scheduled, but a few months after that, that's when Frank was named creative director at Kid Robot.
So we're kind of fresh in his mind. And
so it wasn't too long after that we got a message from him, and he's like, hey guys, we're trying to really push the designer toys again at Kid Robot, and wondering if you'd like to do a mini series with us. And Jordan like busted out in tears when this email came in.
Yeah, I bet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
is that before the Designer Toy Awards?
Dunny?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're working on, they kind of end up working on them at kind of the same time, right? Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh,
I
God.
think that was 2016, maybe? Because I know our series came out in 2016.
Well, it must have been 7. Timelines are tough, Josh.
It was just the year before that Bob Africa had that big fight on the floor of New York Comic Con with the owner of Dude Bob's. I'm segueing back to
Bob Africa had a fight with him? Was it Bob Africa?
Yeah.
Oh, because Dude Bots were blocking the aisle? Is that what it was?
Kid Robot was blocking the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
At New York Comic Con. Sorry, I'm derailing your converstion. I apologize.
No, I think we've about wrapped it up. But yeah,
have you wrapped it up? Are you done?
Only that part.
Man, I'm messing with you.
And that's how we became designer toy artists.
That's it.
Ta-da!
It's interesting what you say about like DesignerCon though, because it feels like it is its own sort of entity. Like you do go there and a lot of people will pass you, and sales are really hit and miss, but it is good to meet people over there, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's those sort of connections that I think DesignerCon is made for, really. Do you know what I mean?
You're right.
Haven't people complained for years that no one sells at Designer Con?
Yeah, for real.
But you do
but there's an adventure. An adventure happens out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You break your ankle. You have to
you
walk around the whole
Yeah,
thing.
because I did this. Yeah, because I sold it at Woot Bear, and then I drove down to Designer Con, broke my ankle like on the
Straight
first
away.
night. Straight away.
Just rolled it the first night.
Remember that.
Little time, right?
Remember
And
that?
then we have to blame Kyle for the fact that I told him it was broken, and Kyle's like, "Nah, that's not broken."
I told everyone that it was broken.
Okay, we both agreed it was broken.
I'm a doctor. I diagnosed it clearly.
And everybody else which was Kyle and Sarah and Gary and Catatomic and Jenna, everybody else was like, "Nah, it's not broken."
We had a house party like maybe 2 months ago, and I told oh shit, what's his name? Lives on the block with Corey. Drew. I told Drew's new girlfriend. So a friend of ours, he brought his new girlfriend to our house, and I told her that I was a doctor, and then she was describing this ailment to me, and I was like, "Oh, you should take this drug," and I happened to have some in my cabinet, so like I went, like I got her a pill, like, "Should I take it now?" And I'm like, "You can take it now, you can take it later." And she and she literally was like, "Wow, this is amazing. Like, I don't usually meet doctors at parties." I was like, "Well, I'm not actually a doctor." And she was like, "You're fucking with me. You're not actually a doctor." I was like, "No, but I do trust my diagnosis."
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Did she take it?
Yeah, she totally took it. She, yeah, man.
I
fixed her up. I fixed her all up.
That's crazy.
That's my job.
That's good. Yeah.
What do you find the main differences between like Designer Con and New York Comic Con and all the different shows? Do you find that it's different collectors in different regions?
Yeah, I mean, so we've really had like a whole breadth of things between the toy shows, the indie craft fairs,
The Comic
Cons, and now board game conventions.
Oh my gosh.
We're into that too. It's the
Say that again. What was that?
Board game.
Board. Oh, okay, yeah.
So I feel like the audience is so different at every single one, and obviously, like the designer toy audience is like just. I feel like they're just more invested into the artist and getting excited about just like the visuals,
the new
of
releases
everything.
and everything, keeping up on the news.
I feel like the indie craft fair people are more excited about like the product themselves and like the work that goes into it, but not as much like following an artist or getting excited about that person. Like if you ask people like, "Oh, where'd you get that from?" They'll be like, "Oh, Etsy or something," or "I got it from the Art Starcraft Bazaar," but it's not necessarily like they're tying it with the artist that's making it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everyone's seen like the Comic Cons, the presence of designer toys. It's decreased over the years.
It's more commercialized.
Yeah, it's all the big properties and stuff over there. So we've done it. We've been there, but it's not something that is kind of on our radar anymore at this point.
Mm-hmm.
As far as designer toys, it's DCon, and then there's this little show in New York too that we love to do.
Yeah, thank you.
Right
New York Comic Con. As soon as they put all the toys in the back of New York Comic Con and got rid of all the vintage toy sellers, I felt like that was like they just took the soul away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And also the indie comic people, they like relegated too. So I don't know.
Maybe it'll change.
Maybe it'll get better. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons?
Never.
So one of the reasons that you're here tonight is to promote your Kickstarter. Travis just came on and was like, "Back that Kickstarter."
Yay.
What's up, Travis? What's up,
Yeah.
Kyle?
Hey,
So I've been through your Kickstarter. I've watched the video. It's really exciting. It really seems like a cute version of Dungeons and Dragons to me. But if you've never played it, then I'm just wrong.
No, it's got a little bit of that in it because it is it's a co-op game, so you're working together to beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to like Dungeons and Dragons, you're on a campaign, all working together towards a goal.
And the RPG aspect, like that kind of traditional role-playing game, you're battling things, restoring your health, kind of boosting other people.
What RPGs do you play?
So I only have one that I play over and over and over for many years, and that is I nerd out over Final Fantasy. But I don't play a lot of video games. And the only time I get to play them is about around Christmas. So I take like so like I've been basically playing one version of Final Fantasy for the past 10 years.
Is it 7?
Oh my gosh, actually I have been playing the remake, this Final Fantasy 7 remake. I got that one 3 years ago. I haven't beat it yet. And like I think I have like an hour left on the game. I swear I put like 50 hours into this game. And then I stopped.
But she's the type of person that like talks to like every person. Like if there's a cat, she'll go talk to the cat. She has to like
has to really explore the world.
I do. Yeah.
I get it. So how did you get into board games? Like where did the board game thing come from?
So we've always really liked playing board games. We have some friends that were into them and doing game nights and stuff. And
was it a pandemic thing then? Oh,
no, it wasn't.
No. A lot of people started playing board games in the pandemic. That's all. Just check.
I mean, so we like them. There's like a whole scene of like indie board games too. It's not just like Connect 4 and Cheesy and stuff. Like there's so many, just like designer toys. There are so many awesome, small, independent people making board games and just doing a really amazing things. And they have incredible art, and it just kind of felt like a really natural progression for us to move in that direction too.
Yeah, so we were making our toy the Familiar. So that's this one here. It's this cute little wizard guy. He's got the pentagram on the back of his cape and everything.
Very cool.
And we were working on this in 2018, and the goal was to release it at 5 points in 2019. So early on in that year, we were kind of talking about the packaging. We were working with Joe at Squibbles Inc. on this. He's the one who produced the toy.
Nice.
Okay.
And we're talking to him, and we're like, oh, so how should we package this thing? And one of us is like, oh, let's do like a little magic pouch, like a little drawstring magic pouch to pop the toy in, to go with the whole wizard theme and everything. And then Jordan made a joke. She's like, oh, let's just throw a D20 in there.
Yeah. He's right for a quest.
Yeah.
So later on that night, it was like one of those moments like you're in the shower washing your hair and like this idea happens. And I'm like, yeah, let's throw a D20 in there. Let's build a whole game around this guy. So it went from releasing this designer toy, which was a big deal in the first place. It was the first one that we were kind of self-producing after the Kid Robot series. And then we decided what we wanted to do was make this game. It was just going to be based on cards. Mm-hmm. And we had 5 colorways. So we were going to split the game into 5, and each figure was going to come with part of the game. So you could collect them all, and then you'd have the whole game. You could play it and everything like that. So in 3 months between February and then 5 points in May, we got that all done. And we had like the little starter pack in the packaging with the toy.
Yeah, because we like to do everything extra. Like, I don't know why we did this to ourselves.
So does it have a soft board?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was kind of like our first version of the game, and we've just been refining it and developing it. And then the whole pandemic happened, so it got set on the shelf for a little bit. And then the beginning of this year is really when we got back into it to release it. Mm-hmm. And so we really expanded it. And like you said, there's a board now. Here, actually, we have the game here. I can pull out some of the
components.
Awesome. Our tagline is that it's a cute occult co-op game. So because we're playing up the magicalness, kind of going like for a tarot board sort of feel to do fabric, laying the cards down.
Cool.
That was very cool.
Thanks.
Cool.
Should we go on Twitch right now and play the game together?
We can.
Have you built like a whole lore behind the game? Like, is there lore behind the characters and stuff?
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes.
Have you gone like balls deep with it?
What was that?
Have you gone deep? Have you gone deep with like?
Oh yeah. Oh, all the characters have a very different backgrounds from each other. They have different personalities. Each one
Right.
has their own witch or wizard that has been teaching it and the magical arts. Each one has their own toad that's like its little familiar's familiar. And on the Kickstarter, we actually in our video have like a really cute little story that goes along with it, but I can give you a brief summary now. So the idea is that in our game is that you are playing as one of these familiars, and the familiars, they're not really great at magic yet. They're kind of bumbling. They're kind of clumsy and silly. But they're the magical conduits of the witches and wizards of Jorley, which is our world that this exists in. And the witches and wizards have been kidnapped, and it's up to you and your friends to rescue them from the evil foes.
Foes, all the bad guys here.
Whoa.
The foes plan to do this.
Oh, that one's right.
They're very scary. But because the familiars love toads so much, each one has their own. It's in their little pouch. The foes released a barrel of toads to distract the familiars from their witches and wizards, and in that moment, they kidnap them. And then in the game, you're basically rescuing a witch and wizard each round of the game, defeating bad guys, and you make it to the end, and you're alive. You win.
That's so cool. Harrison, can you put up the Kickstarter on the screen so we can just look at it real quick when you get a second? Thank you.
So, does the game come with vinyl figures?
It does.
Yeah, that was something that we made sure. So we have the toad here. So this is the familiar's familiar. This is just a 3D print. But yeah, if we're able to get funded through the Kickstarter, this is going to be a vinyl toy that comes with the game.
Yeah.
So you get their frogs. You don't get the actual familiars, because that would be crazy expensive.
Yeah, well, we are doing a semi version of that. So the frog is actually a plain piece that you use to kind of like,
it's the turn tracker.
the turn tracker.
Got it.
But the actual game itself, like the standard edition, does not come with any toys. But if you get the deluxe edition,
Well, it comes with the frog.
okay, it comes with the frog. Sorry, I meant as far as the familiar go.
Right. So
But the deluxe edition, we are doing like resin figures for the familiars, like little resin toys, and those will be, you could use those as your player.
Yep.
Nice.
That's
So-
awesome. Here it is.
So we backed the Kickstarter today because we love you, and I read the levels.
Yeah, that's
I did the $50 level because that seemed like I just needed one game.
But now you're going to upgrade?
Well, now I'm confused.
So let's go through it then. So yeah, tell us so at the $50 level you get the game.
Yep.
So you get the game. The game, all of the games have the little frog vinyl toy. Then there is a deluxe version of the game. That is the one with the resin figures.
Oh, shit.
So that's the $149 one.
Yeah. So you could scroll down to the reward levels, and they
I may have to send you a message on.
You can
Kickstarter.
update it. You can,
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Wait, there's like PTSD over here around Kickstarter.
Yeah. Every day.
And you guys had a little project yourselves, didn't you?
Yeah.
We're still dealing with it.
We're so close.
The pros and cons of Kickstarter.
Can we watch the video, Harrison?
Yeah,
Can we watch the Familiars and Foes video?
Let's do it.
I like this Foursquare view. It's cool.
Foursquare's cool. That's where you can like play that game. The like celebrity box game.
Is that what happens?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Jordan from Horrible.
Hi.
So excited to share our
Thank you, full
brand new
screen.
board game Familiars and Foes with you. We wanted to start by catching you up on the story of the Familiars.
The good witches and wizards of Jorley have been kidnapped.
Oh
The coven had been working on a spell to rid their lands of evil foes when a crafty little spy caught wind of their plan.
no! Oh no, the foes!
Upon learning this, the foes schemed to snuff out the magical abilities of the coven by separating them from their young familiars. They put their plan into action by releasing a barrel of toads outside the familiars' classroom window to create a diversion. When the familiars ran out the door, gleefully chasing the little peepers,
Yay!
the foes swept in and abducted the witches and wizards. Now the familiars must band together on a quest to overthrow the foes and save their spellcasting partners.
I'll help you.
They'll need to bumble their way through new spells, unleash ancient artifacts, and craft crazy combo attacks to succeed.
Ballyhoo! Take that!
They may just surprise their coven with a few tricks and familiars of their own.
Summon the toad.
Familiars and Foes is inspired by our designer toy, the Familiar, which is part of the Horrible Adorables world that we've been building together for over 10 years. Horrible Adorables are curious critters that are cute, a little creepy, but mostly cute.
We're most well known for our soft sculpture art as well as our designer toys. We have shown and sold our work at museums, galleries, boutiques, and conventions all over the world.
With our love of playing board games, our skills in art, design, and storytelling, and our extensive production experience, it was a natural step for us to create and illustrate a board game based on the characters of our world.
We can't wait to share with you our fantastical board game, spell-slinging familiars, fearsome foes, and cute little toads.
So we hope you'll send a little magic our way and back Familiars and Foes on Kickstarter.
Awesome. Yay.
That's
Thank you.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play it.
Yeah,
Thank
really.
you.
So let me ask you a little bit about what went into the testing of a board game. So you came up with the concept of your board game, and then you had to like actually make it into a game with like a beginning and an end and a mission
And there's rules, right? There's
and
rules.
How do you do that? Like, where do you start?
It was so much work. I think that we went into this not realizing what we were really getting into. 'Cause once we got in so far at a certain point, we're like, well, there's no backing out now. But it's a lot. We have been trying to really like make our name now in the board game world, which is very different from the designer toy
It's
world.
huge. Oh my gosh, is it huge?
Yeah, because we were kind of like, we looked at that Venn diagram when we were thinking about doing our Kickstarter of like, okay, here's our fans and there's a designer toy world. Here's the board game people. Now, what's the crossover like? I don't know. Is there a crossover? So
We walked this road about 7 years ago, and we were going to do a board game too. There is a Venn diagram, and it totally works. So it's great. Like we walked down the road, that we just didn't get that far.
Rampage has a game
He does,
too. He has a game called Dungeons and Dungeons, which is like a stupid version of Dungeons and Dragons. But it's like a drinking game version. So, and I'm always like, you should Kickstarter, and he's just like, I'm not going to get involved with that kind of nonsense. But
Yeah,
But yeah,
designing
it totally works in our world. So
cool.
designing a game is like one thing, and that was a lot of work. And we were going to these conventions. We had to become game masters, and we were going out there doing play testing and, just having random people playing our game and trying to break it and figure out what's wrong so we could improve it.
we've done a lot of
that's how you did the research. Sorry to interrupt, but that's what you did. You took the prototype game to like gaming conventions and had people play it.
Yep.
So wow.
Yeah,
did they pay you or did you pay them?
It's actually, so if you want to nerd out about this is
we
actually really interesting. So, at the board game conventions, they have their showrooms where people have booths, and it's similar to ours. You pay for the booth and all that. But if you want to be a game master, it doesn't have to be for your own game. It could just be like, hey, I want to bring, Clue here, and I'm going to run Clue.
No one would ever do Clue, though.
No.
Clue would be very looked down upon.
Don't shit on his example. It's just an example. Come on.
We understand Clue. It's good. Go on.
I was just trying to throw something out.
When the podcast over, she's gonna be like, why did you say Clue?
That's what I would say.
Anyways.
Sorry for fast forwarding to the drive home. I mean,
So you can bring any game out there. Anyone can and so what it is you're just going there because you like to play this game and you're the one that's running it. So you can play it yourself with people, or you can just show other people the game because you love it. And those people, they're called game masters. Mm-hmm. And they are considered more like volunteers to the convention. And so depending on how many hours that you show the game and how many people you have coming to play it, you start actually acquiring perks for it. So you get your convention pass, you can get hotel rooms, you can get food. It's just like you start like piling up all these things. So yeah, it felt like we were being paid to go out to these conventions for a change rather than, you know.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
So did you have to rent a booth and be a game master, or you just went as game masters?
We didn't do a booth because we didn't have anything to sell. I mean, we could have sold our product, but it would have just been a little bit disconnected,
Yeah, totally.
without the game there to kind of, you know, make that bridge.
Right.
So we just did the game mastering. We did it at Origins, which is a really big convention in Columbus. And then we went to Gen Con, that's the biggest convention in the US. That's in Indianapolis. And it goes like from their convention center, and then it goes under the street into like the Indianapolis Colts Stadium. So people are like playing games in the stadium. It's so weird.
But it's like probably like the biggest group of people that don't give a shit that they're in the Colts Stadium.
And actually, I think the biggest one in the world is going on right now in Germany.
Oh yeah, Spiel.
It's Essenspiel or something, I think it's called. So
Oh, yeah.
we skipped that one to be here with you guys tonight.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Bravo.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. So
We play a game here actually. I don't know if you've heard of a game called Binding of Isaac. Have you heard of that?
No.
What's it called?
It's called Binding of Isaac. It's like a really, really heavy duty, hardcore indie game
No.
with a lot of lore behind it. But yeah, we play the board game that is that, which is really rad. Like, and we have a little Thursday night, and we'll play that.
That's awesome.
it sounded like you were saying Biden advisor,
Binding of
which would be
Binding
like
of
a
Isaac.
crazy.
So what is that game about, Susie? What do you do in
It's
that
so
game?
twisted. So the lore behind it, right, is like there's this little guy, a little child called Isaac, right, and the story goes, and it's really dark. Do you know what I mean? So the mother's really, really religious, and she talks to God all the time, right? And then God's like, you need to repent for your sins, like you need to kill Isaac, right? Which is her son, which is weird as fuck, right? So like she goes to kill him with a knife, and like he heads down to the cellar, which basically makes the game. So you got like the cellar level, and then you get like cellar 2 goes down to like hell, and the mother's trying to kill you. But yeah, there's loads and loads of different like monsters that try and attack you. So you're Isaac, and there's little.
It's like child.
Yeah, he's a little child.
Hiding from your mother who wants to kill you because she's religious.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you go down all these like different levels. There's different monsters, and there's different playable characters of Isaac as well. That have got different abilities and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a card-based game, and you're really trying to like. I think you have to collect like 4 souls to like complete the game. So it is like it's more like a sort of card versus card sort of game. Do you know what I mean? With dice and stuff like that. But yeah, we're into it. So I understand what you're on about. And we also play a VR game of Dungeons and Dragons called Demio. So like, yeah, we're in VR, and it's all set out like a mad little 80s cellar, and you can look around and there's posters on the wall, and you can like throw the dice, and we go along, and so that's cool.
Wow.
So I know where you're at. That's my thing.
Okay.
That sounds dark.
Well,
Susie.
but
That's a dark game.
But we've known you a
so
long
dark, like,
time.
Oh, we didn't know you played that game.
Yeah, it's amazing that we just learned something new about you.
Get it on the
We
Switch.
played a
It's
bunch of
great.
those indie games in England too when we were at Morgan's house.
Yeah.
Because Kirsty's super into the indie games. It's
Yeah.
fun. It is a whole genre of like once you start walking down that road of indie board games, you're right. It just like explodes into.
Oh yeah, it's mad, yeah. And like when I went to the EGX, like the video game thing, last week, there's a whole like board game section that you can go play, and people are. It's a really big thing, do you know what I mean? And like the vendors there are selling the board games, and yeah, they're not cheap either, right? Do you know what I mean? These things are fucking expensive, man. Like, yeah. So
Do you have
a board game and take it.
Link in the
Yeah, I want to ask a question to Adorb Harib. Is there a level where you can just buy the toys?
Yes.
What's that level?
So basically with how Kickstarter works is there's the forward section and then there's add-ons. So we have a whole bunch of add-ons that have the vinyl toys. We have our little flocked versions.
Oh, cute.
I want to talk about flocking soon.
And to get into that version or to get into the add-ons, you just have to back the Ballyhoo level reward, which is $1.
Yeah.
And then that grants you access to the pledge manager where you can put more things on.
Yeah, because with Kickstarter, you can pledge whatever you want. But yeah, so if you pledge at least $1, if you don't want the game for whatever reason, you just want the toys, then you can get to the add-ons and just buy the toys.
So have Kickstarter added the add-ons as options now that you can actually select?
Just after you get a reward. So you have to have a reward,
right?
And then you can do the options. So we set one of the rewards.
Okay. So they have updated it though.
What's that?
They have updated it to allow you to select the add-ons. That's great because that wasn't the case a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Previously, you just had to.
Let's talk about Kickstarter.
Previously, you just had to like pledge an amount. So if you backed for $10, but you wanted to add these like $40 add-ons, and you'd have to pledge $50, and then at some point say what you wanted.
Correspond about it.
So there was so much back and forth of like that's why all those backer kits were really huge, because not only did it extend the window for the Kickstarter, but it allowed people to say, well, I've donated $100 more and this is what I wanted.
I see. I've seen people do that, and I've been wondering why, because it seems really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, because you can just enter the optional add-ons right in there, so people can just choose, just grocery list. I want this, that, the other, and then I'm checking out.
That's great. They were talking about adding it, but I didn't know if they'd done it yet, so that's awesome. That's really good.
The function that we ask for whenever we're in conversation with them is the silence function.
In the chat moderation. Yeah. Because you can comment whatever you want on a Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
There's no silence in them. There's no like,
the only rule is like if they're doxing someone or being racist. But otherwise, they're allowed to complain.
But I think that they're adding in moderation tools to make that a little less aggressive.
Yeah, they understand that people are home
and
have a lot to say.
And aggressive unnecessarily.
So by your campaign, do you already have the game, or you are raising the money and you're going to make the game?
So we have just, all this stuff is just a prototype. It's just a really good looking prototype because we know how to make shit.
Yeah.
But no, we're raising the money to make the game.
Yeah, we made about like 15 prototypes, but we're looking to put in a production order with a factory in China who will be doing the manufacturing, and they have a minimum order quantity of 1,000. So that's what we're raising the money for on Kickstarter, so that we can put that order in.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Did we put the link in the chat yet?
I asked
Make sure
Harrison.
we put the link in the chat so that.
Hey Harrison, can you put the link in the chat, please?
And then can you pin it? I don't know if you can pin links in this, but if you can, let's do that so that people can get right to it and back it because it's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really fun game. It's fully cooperative. So it's like we made it for like our people that like the stuff we do, and that are friendly gamers and that like aren't even like super heavy gamers either, because I feel like we just really wanted to appeal to as wide as an audience as we could.
Well, there's some games that we've played that have been kind of an introduction into the more indie games, like Ticket to Ride or King of Tokyo, if you ever seen those games. And we want to kind of to model ours after that, but be a co-op RPG. So, Dungeons and Dragons is, that can be too heavy for some people coming into something like this. So we wanted to create something that was
kind of a gateway. Right.
So it's friendly and everything like that. And it's all contained. The rules are easy to understand so that, you're just having a game night with friends. You can pull this out and it'll work.
Is it for all ages?
It's ages 10 plus.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, and probably some younger kids would be able to play this too if they're good at games. Since it's fully cooperative, you're working as a team. So if kids need a little help and guidance, that works out just fine. And then there's actually 3 levels of difficulty for the game. So, if you have adults playing who want a little bit more of a challenge, then you could play at one of the harder levels.
That's awesome. I just want to shout out to everybody that's saying hello. Hello, everybody. We see your comments. Hi, Arson. Hi, Priscilla. Thanks for joining us and commenting. Hello to the replay crew too. We love you all. So
we're live on Instagram too.
We are
at this
down here. We're trying to get people to come over here.
We're trying to connect the whole Instagram planet because there's tons of people watching us on Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Trying to get them to come over.
Come on over to YouTube.
Come on
It's
over.
nice. More functionality.
Warm. So when you did those trade shows where you played the game as a game master, what was the feedback? Did you have any changes to the game based on the way people played it?
Yeah, we've had a lot of changes. Like the core of our game has always been pretty much the same since we did our very first version, which is that like cooperative, friendly sort of game.
But it's everything around that, all the details. We've added in some other mechanics. So for example, the familiars, they have 2 spell scrolls. They have their beginner one that they start with, and then they have their advanced one. And at one point early on in the game, they just, an early version of it, it was just after you progress so far in the game, you automatically got your advanced spell scroll. But we've changed that so that you actually have homework you need to complete in order to kind of level up to the more advanced character. So that way it kind of walks you through the game and it gives you this list of tasks that you need to complete so that, it feels like a sense of accomplishment once you actually get your advanced spell scroll.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been things like that getting feedback from playtesters that have really helped us to take it from a good game to a great game, we think.
Mm-hmm.
What was the most surprising piece of feedback you received?
Oh my gosh. So a huge component of our game, which is we were actually looking to have our name a different name at first. And it was called Ballyhoo. And it's because of this component right here. So
a lot of the game is played with a 20-sided dice. But there's one move in particular where you flip a coin. And so we made these really cool coins. They're poker chips, so they have a nice weight to them. And you got to flip the coin. And we found out so many people either don't know how to flip a coin or they just don't have the hand-eye coordination to do it.
What?
Really?
That's surprising.
Oh,
yeah.
Not like something that humans are just innately born with.
I guess people now have an iPhone app where they just press the flip.
Oh.
But are you flipping it onto the board, or is it like ding?
You can flip it on the board, or you can just
right.
however you want to do it. But people,
you just fucking flip it.
Yeah.
You don't have to catch it. You just. I mean, honestly, it'd be fine if you just kind of.
I hope there is someone out there watching right now who's like, "Fuck you, Kimberg! I can't flip a coin."
A lot of people. I'm sure you know many people in your life that don't know how to flip a coin.
I don't know anyone who doesn't know how to flip a coin.
I'm gonna start asking people now. It's gonna be like, "Hello, how are you? Can you flip a coin?"
Can we do a survey in the comments here about how many people?
If anybody cannot flip a coin,
can you drink through a straw?
And some people they had physical disabilities too. So
okay, that's not what we're talking about.
No, not at all. But we encountered that, and we never.
You don't have hands.
Yeah.
We're not talking about you.
Right.
Right, but yeah, there was a coordination, and especially it does feel.
I mean, it's easy laugh.
Oh shit!
It's like, oh no, we've been down a bad hole.
Yeah, we're not talking about you. Fuck you.
You have to change the game. You just change the name. Like, would you? That element still part?
Oh no! We did more than change that. So the name change was actually a different reason.
Oh yeah, trademark issues with the patent and trademark office.
But this is a really important part of our game because it's all about teamwork when you do the coin. It's someone will start a spell And if they're successful, then someone can jump in and they say, ballyhoo, and they grab the coin and they flip it. And if you get an eyes open, you get to do further damage against the bad guy. And it's your chain building thing. So
you go around the table and it's
can,
like this big exciting thing that's happening.
And because it's only a 50-50 chance, there's like a lot of people get like really tense, like, all right, are we gonna keep on going? You know, is the chain gonna keep going? And it's really fun. It gets very chaotic. And I personally really like that, but we found out that we found out that there's some people that don't. And so we're actually including the coin, but we're also going to be including like
we're going to include a much lighter weight coin too.
Yes, and then where it's like 2 cards and you choose one of the cards or something like that. We haven't fully figured out, but we're going to make sure that the people that really dislike flipping coins also like the experience.
I had no idea.
That was wow. That was not what I was expecting, but that's exactly that was the question, right? It was like totally out of left field.
People didn't play Pogs enough at school, I guess. Right?
Pogs.
Yeah.
My other question too was, when you were a game master, did you have to stand there and be like, "Hey, come play this game with us"? Like, did you have to?
Well, like, we did 3 conventions. Okay, so the 2 big ones, everything is scheduled ahead of time. Mm-hmm. It's all done online. People reserve their spots, so we didn't have to do anything like that. But the very first one we did, it was this tiny little convention. It was like a glorified game meetup. You know, it was a couple hundred people. It wasn't anything that big.
Can I just pause you I'm so sorry. I apologize. Hey, Duro, what the fuck are you doing on Instagram?
So
go to sleep.
Just to pause this conversation for a second.
Get some rest.
Duro
go to bed.
Was supposed to be here with us live today, and he was supposed to be painting a wall of a hotel in Beacon, and he was supposed to be doing lots of fun stuff with us here today.
And he made us a bike. He made like the official Clutter Toy Mafia bike that
BMX
he built.
Bike. It's just
so
super
rad.
dope. He was going to drive it down
from Toronto today.
And then he's been saying all week that he's been feeling sick, and he's in the emergency room still, and he's like not doing well. And then yesterday he was like, "I'm going to the emergency room." And we're like, "Oh my god!"
He was like, "Well, no." First he was like, "I think I have food poisoning," and then he was texting us, "I think I broke my hip." And we're like, "What are you talking about? Like, what ailment?" See, as a doctor, I was really, So his appendix burst.
Oh no!
So he's in the emergency room right now, and his appendix is getting pulled out tomorrow. Hey, if you're watching us on Instagram Live, come over to YouTube.com/Clutter Magazine, and comment on there where we can have an actual conversation, because everybody's commenting on YouTube, but it's happening.
We wanted to have Duro as a surprise guest tonight on the podcast, and he was going to come on and talk about making videos go viral, which we thought was going to be an awesome like secret segue into Kickstarter and talking about. So it was whole thing. Yeah. But he's in an emergency room right now, but he's still on Instagram. We love you, brother.
Get better.
We love you. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, Duro.
Put the phone down, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Go recover.
He's probably bored.
I'm sure.
In the emergency room.
So anyway,
go on. I apologize. You went to the first one. It was super small. You were at the first convention. It was super small. Normally everything is pre-programmed, but this one you showed up.
Yeah, and like it was super small, so everybody had their game groups. Like they were just hanging out with friends, and they already knew what they wanted to do. And we were there with our brand new game, and we're trying to get people to come play test with us. We actually
felt like starting over, like our entire careers.
Yeah,
from scratch. We were like, "Hey guys, please come hang out with us." And we was like, "No."
Like we made a big sign to hold. It was this big whiteboard, and it had like it was all illustrated. It's like, "Oh, come on over and play our game."
Yeah, because we were like, "No one signed up to play our game. We have to hustle when we get there."
And then we had cards. So we had little fortune cards that you could scratch off, and it gave you like.
They're very impressive. Cute.
Yeah, the cards were very impressive, but nobody was impressed with the cards. We were just like trying to like, "Hey, do you guys want a fortune?" And they're just like, no, thank you.
No. Oh, man.
It was like going to a new school.
I've experienced that too, when it's like walking around at a convention giving out flyers or whatever, and people are just like, "No," and you're like, "Why don't you want my flyer? Like, what's wrong with like it's very interesting." Or giving out magazines at New York Comic Con too, and people are like, "No." You're like, "What do you mean no?" Like, no, yes.
I mean, we'll even stand here outside of the gallery at openings, and we're like, "Free beer," and people are like, "No, thank you."
Yeah, so don't take it personally.
Yeah. But
So-
you did it. It's really exciting, and it's kind of your journey is really interesting because we stopped prior to ever actually going on the journey.
Well, we got scared by that. We were like, we had this whole concept for the game, and it was going to be awesome, and it's still an awesome idea. But like, then we're like, are we really going to spend the time testing it and taking it to and doing that side of it? That's where I was really interested with how that went for you, because that's like a full commitment.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could turn this into a 5-hour conversation.
We've stopped doing everything else for the last few months.
That was kind of my next question to you is like, I know that when we get involved, because we're like crazy, everything that we see, we want to do.
Yeah.
And we get involved in so much stuff. And then it takes over your life and you find yourself in conversations going like, oh, we're really into this like thing. And you're explaining it. So are board games now taking over your life? Is that going to be what people can expect from Horrible Adorables for a while?
No, for a while. I didn't mean to go like, I was like, oh. No, I love having the two sides, but like we're toy people. Like this is an extension
of our Horrible Adorable world, but it's not where our whole world is going to go. We're going to continue making original pieces and toys. Maybe there will be another game down the line.
Yeah, depending on this one. I'd love to continue.
Or an expansion to it or something like that. You know, this is definitely our focus right now, of course, but I don't know that we're going to be hopping, away from toys over to games.
Yeah, I feel like it was a temporary break because, as we were saying before, like we did not realize what we were getting into when we were like, let's make a board game. That'll be super fun. We'll just come out with it and throw it on Kickstarter. And then we found out like, oh no, there's a board game community. That makes sense. Oh, the board game community is like intense. And like they will not like you have to make yourself known. Like they're not just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna support this like thing that I've never heard of. Like you have to really get into that community. And so like we just spent a long time just really trying to get into that.
I think it's important for people to understand though just how much work goes into these projects. It's not like you just threw something up on Kickstarter and like, here you go, you just did it yesterday. It's like even putting the Kickstarter together takes so much time and effort, like so much.
Gosh. Like things that I never wanted to learn. Like I am an expert on Incoterms for free shipping. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but like I could know the difference between DDP and DDU and oh my gosh. So yeah, it's a lot. I mean, we've been working with 20 plus different board game reviewers. This is something that's
been very different than the toy world is the reviewers. So there are a lot of media for board games, and part of coming out on a Kickstarter, because board games is the biggest thing that happens on Kickstarter.
Yes.
We released our game on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. because that's the unofficial
board game release
game
day.
time.
Just like you have like record release day or movie release day, Tuesdays are board game release days on Kickstarter.
Wow.
So we had almost 30 reviewers just putting out content, just so that to give us credibility and to let people know, yes, this is a good game. This is a good thing, to give people confidence. And
so did you have to give them prototypes, those reviewers?
Yeah, we made, I think 12 or 15 prototypes. And then we've just been like rotating them to people, and they've been going around the world. There's some is there one in the Netherlands right now? And
there's
Germany.
One in the UK, a couple in Australia. The rest of them are over here.
That's awesome.
I think our kids would love this game.
Yeah, I think so too.
It sounds rad.
It does.
Yeah, I hope you'll play with them.
We will.
Maybe we should have like a game playing moment on this podcast where we like all sit and play a game.
Everybody at Clutter who's ever worked at Clutter has tried to get me to play Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody, everyone's been like, well, we're going to have a Dungeons and Dragons thing, right? And I'm like, no. So maybe it's time. I don't know.
I've prepped
light intro.
Everybody's like Dungeons and Dragons. And I don't know. I don't know if it just wasn't a thing as big in England or not. None of my friends that I grew up with played Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know one single person in England that plays Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe I do now, I don't know. But growing up, I don't know anybody. But you all played it, right?
Did you play Dungeons and Dragons, CZ?
No, man, no, not really, no.
I wonder why.
I always so we had the Games Workshop thing over here, and I always really liked the figures, but I never played the games. I think I got a few of the figures and just painted them because they were cool. But
Everybody I knew painted the figures too, but never played the game.
Yeah.
Did you play, Alex?
Oh, I'm so fucking deep into Dungeons and Dragons. I don't paint the figures. I play the fucking game.
Yeah. That was our thing too. There was no painting, whatever. It was like, and then in the city, New York City, there's the complete strategist where you would go and it was like the dark world of dice and books and like insanity. And we just pick up.
I have
shit.
so many D20. I'm ready for this game. The horrible, adorable game. I'm like,
I gave all my dice away when I was like 25 because I just
You
rid
like
myself
officially
of it.
quit and you
Yeah.
like gave your dice away.
Yeah, I did. I gave it all away. But I just went online and bought a whole new set so that I could play Dungeons and Dragons with the kids.
there's a whole thing about D20s though, because people who make D20s, if it's poured incorrectly, it's going to put air bubbles inside of the dice. And if there's an air bubble, then it can prefer a certain roll over others. So you have to put the dice into salt water, and then whichever way that it comes up, you can tell if it's an improperly weighted dice. So
Thanks for the tip, Alex. There you go.
totally.
I've never really thought about making dye. I've just like
Write that down. Salt water, dye.
test it.
Test your dice.
What about designer dice? Is that a thing? I don't
No, there's not.
It is totally
is
a
a
thing.
thing. It is
I've
a
watched loads of videos of people making them recently. It's just been coming up in my feed. I don't know why. Because we're always talking about Dungeons and Dragons. It's
All my
listening, and
books
we're like,
are AD&D second edition. So I went online and downloaded a second edition player character sheets. And I'm like, my kids are going to grow up and they're going to be like, oh, it's second edition. Like, they're not going to realize it was 1992.
Second edition seems so old, Josh.
Dude, that 1992, baby.
So while we're talking about retro games, next weekend, the 15th, which is not this weekend where we usually have a gallery show because this weekend is Comic-Con, so we moved it a week so that people could do both. We are having 3 awesome shows, but one of which is Rado Kim's Game Room. So this is Rado Kim's entry, one of her entries, which is the awesome Game Boy box cat, which I just messed up completely. And then we have your custom for the show here, which is amazing and flocked.
Yep.
Which can lead me into my segue about how you guys have become the people that flock.
Yeah.
What's
So
your secret?
what's our secret? It includes Chris getting shocked a lot.
Yeah.
So
What's that?
Ooh, I didn't hear what you said. It includes what?
Chris getting shocked a lot.
Right.
Oh.
Not a lot anymore. You've mastered it. But so we in self-producing toys, a lot of people in our scene do resin toys. And for us doing, I know we have like the vinyl toys and stuff like this, but our main work is the work with the felt and stuff like that. And so
the resin never quite felt right for our
felt,
aesthetic.
right? And this was kind of a way to bridge that, I guess, was to do small runs of Flock toys.
Right.
So Chris is kind of the one that's figured out how to do all the work on that. So
Yeah.
you kind of.
I mean, there's a couple ways to do it. The way we started off is you can just get like these little puffers that are just like, if you took like a can of Ajax, like the soap, or if you took like a couple paper towel tubes and you put them together and you kind of put the flock inside, then on the one end, it just has a couple holes and you kind of pump it and it just like puffs the flock at the pieces. So you cover the piece in an adhesive and then it would just cover it. And we did that for almost a year like that. And then I finally figured out how to do electrostatic flocking.
So Chris has an engineering background. I want to preface that for anybody that's like, oh, I'm going to do this at home too. Like, you actually understand what you're doing and how
I know how dangerous it is.
yeah, and how to manage charges and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Go on. I've watched lots of videos, but please explain.
Yeah, so I went online, and you can buy units, and they're super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I found some places that showed how to do it inexpensively.
Yes.
Tell us you got like a car battery and you're like, like proper mad scientist.
No, it's actually like an air purifier, how they have like they're like negative ion air purifiers.
Yeah.
So it's actually the component from those. It's called a negative ion generator, and it's really small and it's fairly inexpensive. But what it does is it produces a really strong negative charge. So what you have to have is something has to be positive.
Right.
Wait,
That's really loud.
that was so loud.
Wow.
You say
That was a negative charge right there.
yeah.
that was a positive charge.
Yeah. Okay.
So you
Can
need
you
a
go back
positive charge.
Can we scroll back 2 sentences?
Okay. So you have to have a positive charge and a negative charge, right? It's just like, you take a balloon, you rub it on your hair and stick it against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's just static electricity. So it's the same thing happening here. We'll have like a container, like an aluminum container, like a takeout container that's just filled with all the flocking fibers, and I'll run a negative charge to that. And so then we have a positive charge. We'll like put a little screw in the bottom of these guys to hold on for a handle. And then we'll put the positive side to these. And then you just put it near it, and all the fibers just kind of float up and attach. And the nice thing is since it's you're using an electrostatic method, all the fibers actually stand on end.
Yes.
Where when we were puffing it, it would just be like smushed and laid down, and so it wasn't as fluffy. But when you use the electrostatic, everything is on end, so it's just very plush. The effect that you get out of it.
Yeah, it looks like a legit calico critter.
Yeah.
Part of my question about it is when you put the screw in the resin, is that part of creating the positive charge? Do you need that metal to create? Let the man answer.
Sorry.
Is that part of the?
Yeah, it helps. These pieces are actually they're 3D prints that we do. So we just print these at home, and then we go ahead and we put the screw in. So it's a combination of being able to conduct the charge through the metal screw, and then plus having the adhesive on it. So it's like a liquid. I think that helps conduct a little bit. But it's like the flock gets a charge to the metal, but then it hits like this critical mass as some gets on here, and then the whole thing, it just becomes attracted to it. And it's a really cool process. We have a bunch of videos on our Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah,
if you want to see
we're
any.
TikTok famous for flocking.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I have a question about flocking. So is like the material that you're using, is it like a fine thing? Like you have to wear a mask when you're doing it?
Yeah.
Is it everywhere? Is it just like all over your house? Everywhere?
No, it's really well contained. Well, it was getting all over when we were doing the puffer.
When you're puffing it, it's like yeah.
So we were doing that like in a box, but even so, it was getting all over the place. But now with the electrostatic, it's really well contained. But we still wear respirators and everything because they are really fine
microfibers.
Yeah, they're basically plastic microfibers, and you don't want to coat your lungs in any of that stuff.
Wow. Yeah, what's the like plastic version of mesothelioma?
That's what it is. Yeah, yeah. It's like don't inhale.
Doctor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so this one's beautiful, and this will be on display next week as part of the show.
It's honestly, it's pro. The flocking is pro.
Oh, it's so pro.
Really pro. Like
on every surface too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic. It's totally fantastic.
A lot of experience and a lot of getting shocked because, like Jordan was saying, if I accidentally touch the pan that has the flock in it, there's this big arc that happens. It's like,
Why do you always keep your hand behind your back, Chris?
Like, don't touch the flock.
You don't want to complete the circuit.
No. Yeah, it's like, the worst static electricity shock you ever got. Like, that's what it is.
No, that doesn't sound fun.
Right.
And you always want to, I learned this in school. It's like when you're dealing with electricity, you put one hand behind your back, you work with one hand, because if you ever do get electrocuted, it doesn't go through your heart that way. You're just getting a little shock, and that's
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Yes, we do.
This is awesome. This is like how not to die.
Yeah, so
in your home.
Don't actually do these things.
No.
It's very dangerous. We just happen to actually know what we're doing.
I know. Josh, for a moment there, Josh really wanted to be able to electroplate. And my dad knows how to electroplate. He's built factories of electroplating, and it's the one my dad's normally like, all right, I'll build your machine, we'll fix it, we'll figure it out. And that's the one thing he was like, you were never electroplating. That is like, that's where I
we were making resin for someone, and they're like, just buy your own electroplating bath. And so we looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's only $1,600. We'll do it. And your dad was like,
you will die.
No.
No.
You're not allowed.
Stuff all around. Yeah.
Yeah. So
bad news. But flocking, I think we're allowed to flock.
Flocking is not as dangerous, that's for sure. Still dangerous. So.
Painful, but not deadly.
Messy, but
you're
not deadly. Yeah.
Yes, unless you're standing in a puddle of water. Wow.
Just don't complete the circuit.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So
on that note, let's complete the circuit.
Let's complete the circuit. Because I think it's almost time for Toy Tank, because I know you guys have another podcast after this one. So,
we double booked.
Yeah, we're doing the media circuit here.
They have 15 minutes.
I know
to go flog.
To go Toy Tank and then tell us like your advice for up and coming signers. So let's do Toy Tank, and Alice is going to give us an introduction to our guest this week.
Yeah. Oh man, I am so excited about this next Toy Tank. This is an artist who I met. God, like my first 5 Points Festival was, I think, the fall of 2019, and I met I almost said the name right, Aliana Soto, aka Fetch for Donuts. She was the nicest person who I had met, and I saw her work then, and it's gotten better and better and better and better. And now she's here with us on Toy Tank. She's going to show us some cool shit. So without further ado, Fetch for Donuts.
Hey.
How are you?
What's up, guys? Nice to meet everybody.
Where are you?
Studio.
I'm in my house in Queens, New York.
What's up, Queens?
Queens. Gotta represent New York.
Nice.
Yay.
Awesome.
So show us what you bought to Toy Tank today. Let's take a look.
What did I bring? Nothing. A whole lot of nothing. I have like some pieces I've been working on that I did one for Comic-Con with Tenacious Toys. That's there now. I don't have even the zombie bunnies that I have that I just did recently for bubble wrap. Those are going to be sold next week, but I have stuff on my shop right now, but I guess I could show you my blanks, which is something that I've been doing for a little over a year now. So I have the blank mini bunnies. They're these guys here.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. So they kind of are the same as like my regular zombie bunnies that I normally have. Just there's nothing on these, so you could just kind of do what you please with them.
No mouth, no tongue.
No mouth, no tongue, just the body.
Are they vinyl or resin?
Resin.
Awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I cast them all in my little apartment here.
Nice.
What's the inspiration for the form?
It started out years ago when I first started messing around, learning about toy design and just wanting to do it. And I was invited to do a show with Martian Toys, and it fell through. So I had started just kind of sketching ideas for bunnies. So I came up with a bunny who eventually evolved into the zombie bunny. And then I said to myself, okay, I love this zombie bunny. I love the drifts, but maybe people don't want to do the drifts. Maybe they just want the form to just do whatever they want. So that's kind of where it evolved from. So it went from the zombie bunny to now just the blank.
But the idea for the zombie bunny, did that mean something to you?
It just came, no, not really. It was kind of like, well, I guess it kind of does a little bit. So before I started toy design stuff, I'll tell you the story. So years ago, I was a collector for like over 10 years, like designer toys. I went to Kid Robot in the city. I was going to Comic-Con, wherever I got my hands on it. I was this broke college kid, and I used to stand in Barnes and Nobles and look at Clutter Magazine because I was just like, I just liked the world, but I didn't know how to get in it. So when I finally said, okay, I want to start learning about doing toys. So I didn't know how to sculpt. I didn't know how to do anything. So, but I am a graphic designer for over 10 years. So that's what I really knew. But I knew how to sew. So I just started making like plushies and stuff and selling them on Etsy. And the first toy I did was like a little bunny. And I don't know if it was inspired by my daughter or where it really came from. It just kind of started from there. And then I took that and I said, I don't want to sew anymore. I want to learn how to sculpt and actually make designer toys. And then I just kind of kept the bunny alive over the years and just kept evolving it.
Very cool.
Is there something so like the zombie as well? Is there some sort of significance with the zombie? Do you love zombie movies, or is there?
Yeah, I do. I like the limit of cute and gross. Anything that's kind of cute but kind of gross. Like I like anything like that. So I don't know, it just appealed to me. It's like, okay, he's cute, but he's kind of grimy. It just stuck. I don't know. It feels right.
Awesome.
What kind of direction do you see your work taking from here? Are you going to start doing like larger sculptures? Are you going to start doing, are you going to start flocking?
No, hell no. No, I'm not going to do that. That sounds really dangerous. No, I'm not doing that. No. Yeah, I want to do like, I have like my my zombie donut that I just released when I did 5 Points back in June. It was my first time ever doing any type of event ever. I had never done one before, so I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to prep. I just said, okay, I'm just gonna make a bunch of stuff and see what happens. So I released my zombie bunny there, and my I released my zombie bunny there, the newer version, and then I released my zombie donut, and those two kind of just flew off, which was great. So I want to continue with the zombie donut and make it larger scale. I also took this and I enlarged it and I created a different face, and I'm going to enlarge that as well. So I want to work larger scale and I want to do more sculpting and bigger pieces.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
This is super exciting.
And we'll see where that goes. Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Is there any advice that you're looking for? Why are you on Toy Tank? What do you want to get out of tonight?
I don't know. Well, of course, to meet you guys, because we've talked, but I've never actually spoken to you guys. So I know Alex for a while, a couple of years now, but I've never really met any of you guys before. So I guess the first thing would be to talk to you guys, learn more. I want to get more involved in the world and I want to be a known name. I want to just be part of it.
Well, Chris and Jordan, do you have any advice for that? How to, when you get started, how to build a name for yourself, how to get recognized?
I feel like we're trying to do that in the board game. So we have very experience in that.
I think it's just getting yourself out there is the most important thing. Go to the shows. We did, this is kind of a double-edged sword for us, but we say yes to everything. Somebody says, hey, do you want to be in this show? Do you want to be in that show? Could you help me with this? Can you help me with that? We're always saying yes as much as possible because we get so many different connections that way. One thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Like we're saying, we did this one art or indie craft show in Chicago, and that wound us up in Clutter Gallery. It was a last minute invite. We didn't know anybody, and it was just these weird connections that happened. So you really have to just kind of put yourself in those situations so that when those opportunities present themselves, then you can take them.
Right. That's great advice. Yeah. I got a little burnt out this year because I like you said, like I was saying yes to anything and everything I can get my hands on because I'm just like, I'll do it. But then it reached the point where it's like, okay, I need a moment because I haven't really been doing something for myself. I've just been doing stuff for everybody else. So
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, I'm trying to find that balance.
We are too. Still.
It's hard. By the way, I'm a huge fan of you guys. Like, I met you guys back in 2009, and like, I have one of your pieces here. Like, I love this guy.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Very
I'm
cool.
a fan.
Thank
We
you.
see your collection in the back there.
Oh yeah, that's I got like a whole wall of toys over there as well. It's many years of collecting.
Very cool.
So the piece that's like right behind you, next to the Kozik, on the other side.
That was
yeah. So
funny.
is that kind of your new direction right there with the big open mouth and?
Yeah. Can you give me? Yeah, that's kind of like where this one came from. This actually happened by accident. What happened was I had done this one and I sent it to my printers and they enlarged it and I didn't ask for it. So I said, cool, let me just keep it. And then I said, one day I was just looking at it and I said, you know what, this could be really cool to kind of enhance the zombie bunny that I have and not really make it a zombie anymore, but I like the form. So then I kind of just went and then I started developing it like this, which I cut the mouth open, added the teeth, the tongue. So yeah, I think that's the new direction I'm going to go with the bunny.
I like how aggressive it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's still cute, but aggressive.
Me too. He's very angry.
It's like walking down the street in Queens.
Kind of like I'm cute and aggressive.
And one thing I'm really enjoying.
It's like me. Like like.
It's like me. Hey, it's like me.
Aggressive.
You know.
Yeah. Aggressive.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I really love.
This is basically me in toy form.
There you go.
Perfect.
It's all self-portraiture.
It's great.
I'm really loving the bold line work, and I'm noticing that on other pieces because we have some of your work right now in our Rainbow Sparkle show, which is up until the end of the week. And yeah, just like your line work, like the heavy black line work is so good. I like it's really expressive. I think that like you're really like pushing the envelope with it. It's so cool to see.
And I would add to that how well you've developed in the last few years and how tighter your painting's getting, and it's just all like coming together so beautifully.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying. I don't have like official. I mean, I went to college for graphic design, but that's pretty much it. So I don't really have a background or a whole storyline of being this artist and all this stuff. So it's all self-taught. So it's just. I'm glad that I can keep evolving and I just want to keep going and see what I can do. I just want to push and keep pushing.
It's amazing.
I was going to say that I feel like I could see your graphic design background in that piece, just like how clean it is, like your line work and everything. It's so polished and like, yeah, embrace that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I think that even though I like to say that I'm a toy designer, that graphic design side of me is so there that I can't let it go. So it's just I feel like I have to bring it out because it just feels like I have to do both.
Yeah, you should.
Are you a fan of Joe Ledbetter?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I can kind of
like
see
his toys for
some
sure.
influence in there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I have a few of his pieces. Yeah, I just like the bold lines, the crisp lines, the sharp color. Like, I mean, I love all kinds of toys, but my eye always goes to that, just really bold color and lines. So yeah, I'm a fan of his for sure. Graphic, yeah. Yeah.
Can you hold up with the other zombie bunny as well?
Another one that I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have a few. I have these are like the ones like I have now. Like this is like my original zombie bunny.
The slime, right?
I do love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's actually I have some of these in my shop still. These I actually did for 5 points, so they're still in my shop. Cool. So I have that one. This is like a lime green with pink, and then I have like a two-tone one here.
Awesome.
Nice.
Like that.
That's great.
And then I have this one's my old version. So the old version has the seam. Originally, when I had designed it, it was meant to be vinyl, but then I realized that was just kind of I didn't know anything about that or how to get involved in that, and I was really nervous. But I said, you know what? Let me learn how to cast in resin, and I'll just do it myself. So for a while, I just did it like this with the seam, and I eventually evolved it to with no seam.
Hmm.
So
I like both versions, so
Yeah,
I like the seam too.
I like the
Yeah.
fake seam.
Yeah,
Fake
yeah.
seam is cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
We
so that
in the
kind of
last,
creates the neck.
couple of years we've added seams to things to make them look more sophisticated.
Yeah. Here you go. Somebody wants to see some with felt scales, so they want to see a horrible, adorable collab happening here.
This is the part of the show where we collab.
Together.
Right
All right,
on.
I know we're running out of time with horrible, adorable.
Man, that's a dream come true. Are you kidding?
I know.
Let's make it happen. We're always down.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta just say yes to
I'll be
everything.
glad to say you got the toy. You do whatever you want with it. Oh my god.
There you go. Awesome.
Right on.
So I know we're running out of time with horrible, adorable, so I just want to give them a last shout out.
Thank you, Fetch for Donuts.
Yes, thank you. Hang
Awesome.
around. Stay
Thank
with
you.
us. Stay with us.
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
Oh.
So yeah. So do you have anything else you
Sure.
want to talk about before, after the Kickstarter? Is there anything else you have in the plans, or is the board game like that's what you're focused on right now?
Oh my gosh. I kind of wish the board game was all we were focused on because it's so huge, such a big project, but we're not making it that easy on ourselves. So we have a couple shows coming up. We're going to be at a group show at Arch Enemy Art.
Oh yeah, in
Oh,
Philadelphia.
And then I think that's in November.
And
Mhm.
then
We also have a show with Sad Salesman and Roto Fuji in December. It's
yes.
just a 2-person show called. It's going to be so. A couple of years ago, we did the Sad and Horrible show.
Yes.
World was falling apart. Also, our names merged together. So this is the return of Sad and Horrible show.
This is the horribly sad show.
Yes.
No.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Everybody who's watching, go back to Kickstarter. When does the Kickstarter end?
November
3rd.
November.
So we're in the 3rd day right now, and it's a 30-day campaign, so it'll be ending on November 3rd.
Awesome. Just in time to get people's paycheck at the end of the month. So that's
There
good.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll let you go to your
This
next.
was super fun.
Yeah.
We learned about.
Oh yeah, we miss all you guys so much. This has been really nice to catch up.
Yes. Next 5 points. June next year.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Yes. Please.
Yeah. All right, we're going to stick around to tell the story of Dude Box, but you guys can go on your merry way to the next podcast. Thank you for
All
joining.
right. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. So before we go tonight, I just wanted to get in the story of Dude Box, because otherwise
I was wondering if you were going to like.
But otherwise we won't get into the story of Dude Box. So these are toys that we released tonight.
Fetch
on
for Donuts. Were
Network.
you at New York Comic Con 2017, 2016?
Do you remember? Dude Box?
No, I wasn't.
No. All right.
Let us tell you the tale.
Was that
I'm
the
ready.
year? They don't have a year on them, right? Right.
It was early.
It was early. It was early. So Dude Box was a UK based.
I'll tell you what year it happened.
You remember Dude Box, right, Susie?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Did you have some of these?
Did I what?
I like
Did you
the
have
shape of it. It's nice.
Yeah, you sent me some. Like, I had some back in the day. Like, yeah.
Because what was the first figure they released? It was like
It was
the
the
one
dude.
with the ears, right? Which we have a gold one of somewhere.
I've got another one from them. Like, it was quite a good sculpt actually.
Yeah. So this was
What
the guy who created Dude Box.
2010.
2010.
So it was, oh my God. So we were on the floor of New York Comic Con 2011 when the
it
shit went down.
Oh, okay.
And,
So
and,
there
it
you
was,
go.
and it was Bob Africa. And I don't remember the name of the guy who owned Dude Box.
I don't remember him either, but Dude Box was created because the guy that created it was like a multimillionaire who'd made all of his money in, was it like Star Wars?
He owned the license to make Star Wars toppers to shampoo bottles for all of the EU. So if you bought like a Luke Skywalker shampoo bottle or a Darth Vader shampoo bottle, he got that money. And so they were loaded, and they wanted to. His
And the
kids were really into Kid
designer
Robot.
toys. Yeah.
So he wanted to do something in that world because he wanted to be involved in that world.
So they hired my friend Suchi in the UK, who worked on toys. He made his own toys. He worked with Ad Funcher, and so they created this giant company called Dude Box. And I call it a giant company because they invested so much money into
They spent
it.
£2 million, and
Wow.
it's like it's a designer toy cautionary tale. The
Yeah.
way it started was there were a number of conference calls where they were trying to line up artists throughout the industry and get everyone involved and excited about the Dude Box platform.
So they had us on many calls, just
It
picking
was,
our brains about what was a good form, what artists to work with. Like,
But-
look at this toy, look at this toy.
But by the time we got on the phone with them, they'd already designed all the platforms. They weren't asking us what was a good form.
That's
They wanted to know which artists were like we're gonna get Pete Fowler to put his art on this
And
dude.
Tristan to do
and
this
Tristan
one.
to this story.
Yeah.
But
Did Tristan design one?
I
think he
Ron
did.
did one.
I think he did.
Do you remember we had giant?
Yes,
ones?
we'll get to that.
Oh my god! So they just they kind of came out of the gate like a fait accompli. Like, we've designed this whole platform universe for the designer toy people because you all are going to love it because you love designer toys.
And I think that the key to the designer toy industry is that it's everybody's in it for the love of the toys and the art. So you have to put that first. Like, money is just, you can't buy your way into this industry. It doesn't matter how much money you've got. You can't come in and be like, oh, well, I'm so good. Here's all this money. It doesn't work. And we can track company after company that have tried to do that and buy their way into the cool. And it just doesn't work.
So they just came out of the gate with all these toys with artists on the platform, but there was no community buy-in. It just sort of came in like, 0 to 2 million pounds, really fast, really hard. And so the place where the shit went down was on the floor of New York Comic Con 2011. We were standing there. There was Dude Box had spent like $75,000 on their booth.
It was like a giant booth with like hanging
crazy.
signs, this big island. Like,
and next to them was Kid
wow.
Robot.
Yeah.
And so Kid Robot was selling very well. And there was a line that wrapped around the Dude Box booth. And the owner, whose name I can't remember, flipped out and had a verbal altercation with Bob Africa, who was running Kid Robot at that time, screaming, and they had to get security and pull them apart and basically get Kid Robot to push their line a different way. But day one of New York Comic Con was like really just a shit show
almost
on
a
the
fist
floor.
fight.
Yeah. On day two, Dude Box was so mortified that they weren't selling that they cut their prices of all their toys on the second day and started a massive sale.
Yeah.
And we were all like,
what?
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, this is like
a fire sale.
Yeah. He was like, oh my God, anyone who would listen, he was like, I've spent $2 million. This booth cost me $75,000. I have all these artists. No one's buying them. Just sell them for $30 each so I can make my money back. And it was like just a shit show, a public shit show at New York Comic Con.
But they also made gigantic versions, like 5-foot versions, and they just sent them to artists without their approval.
The story, it's been so long ago that we feel comfortable to talk about this. But they sent Ron to these giant robot-looking ones, and he painted them, and they stood around and nobody wanted them. So eventually, and for a while, they lived here at the gallery.
The ones that lived here were the ones with the ears. The little
some of those photos
ones.
of them, yeah. And we brought them back to Ron. I think Ron either smashed them to pieces and burn them, or
I think he did,
or I think maybe the kids, the guy's kid came with a U-Haul and took them away because Ron was like, if you leave them here, I'm going to publicly just smash them and put out a video. So buy Dude Boxes.
So there's a good story behind this. Yeah, you can't buy your way. Doesn't matter how much money you've got.
So I mean, it was a lesson for us to know that like the way to make designer toys is to ask artists what they want to make, not to just like roll out a platform. So it was a really good lesson to watch. It was good to watch someone else blow 2 million pounds to teach us all what we already knew.
And all the artists took their money, which is good. They should have.
Everybody
they were just
took
like,
money.
all right, cool, take their money.
We took
and I don't think the
advertising money.
toys I don't think most of the toys didn't actually even come out.
I don't know.
They're probably in a warehouse.
Are there still like Dude Box toys like floating around anywhere?
Yeah, I'm looking. I mean, when I
probably.
search for them, like there's
Monorex. There you
well,
go. Yeah.
Terry still has. If you search for them,
Come with stuff about them.
it seems like the place to get them is Martian.
Martian Toys has some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. The DIYs.
Yeah.
The same one as these egg-shaped ones?
I'm looking. I don't think so, because they had all these different forms. It was wild. It was a wild time.
Wow.
There's no photo. I don't think it's real.
I don't think it's real.
I don't
think
think
they
it's
just.
real.
But it's funny when you type in. If you type in dude box, Martian comes up.
So who knows?
Wow.
Oddly enough.
It's a crazy tale.
So
The fights on the floor of New York Comic Con.
we just want to tell that story. Thanks for humoring us.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
So it's a story
Lesson
in honor of New York Comic Con.
It is.
Because New York Comic Con's happening right now.
I know. I'm kind of sad not to be there, and I'm also very happy not to be there in equal measures.
I don't know.
Do you guys like to work? Do you guys ever work Comic Con ever, really, or?
We did Comic Con for years and years and years until we started 5 Points. And the year that we started 5 Points, they pushed all the designer toys back into the back corner. And we were like behind all the giant marketing booths. And we're like, all right, we're not going to do this again. So then we stopped doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they were in the front of the Crystal Palace, when designer toys were like up front, it was great because you got eyeballs that you could never get anywhere else. But once they started to hide them in the back, it doesn't have the same ring. Although it looks a bit better this year. The placement's a bit better. So hopefully they're taking it seriously. Yeah. I don't know. Just New York, the amount of people that are there, it just, it makes me sweat.
Yeah, it's intense. I'm gonna go, but I'm going on Sunday when it's quiet and nobody's there.
Yeah, totally. Hi, Lewis. Thanks for joining us from Southwest Florida. All right. Well,
on that note,
it's getting late in the UK. Caesar needs to go to bed. I'm sure he's got to get up in the morning. We have to go and eat dinner.
We should schedule a podcast of story time.
Yeah,
just tell stories.
This is true.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for everyone for joining us. Next week we have James Groman. So it's going to be a killer episode. There he is.
Wow.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.